All right. I'm back. Can you see me? Can you hear me now? Jamila, if you're still with me, oh dear, can't hear you. All right, I think I have to change my device altogether. Sorry about this. Sorry. All right, can you see and hear me now? All right, if you can see me and you can hear me, let me know. I can see and hear you now. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so I was using my mobile device and I am not sure why you couldn't hear me. I have just changed to another device that is not so reliable, but we will just go with that. Sorry about this. Just give me a second. Let's see if we can do something here. All right, I'm so sorry about this today. Sorry that we had to go through all of this today. Okay, so let's just jump right in. It's still echoing. Oh, wow. Can you hear me now? Please. Is it echoing? Is it okay? Coach MB, your first device was clear just before you switched. Can you see that? Just look at that. Okay, so this one is echoing. Is this echoing? Should I try and go back to the first device then? Please let me know. Should I switch back to the other device? Uh, Thank you, Jamila. Thank you for your patience and for the feedback. Is this okay? Can we go with this or do we just switch back to the other device and see if it's any better? I can't say why that was an issue anyway. Let me, yes, you can try the first device, man. Wow, that means this one is really not good. Okay, just give me a second. All right, so can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me right now? Please let me know if you can. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm back to the first device. Now I would like to know if you can see me and you can hear me. So we can continue if you can. Can you see me now? Can you hear me? Loud and clear. Hearing you loud and clear. All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So thank you so much for the feedback. Okay, it's fine now. All right. So thank you. Thank you. All right. I don't know what that was about, but let's just move, right? So let's not dwell on this. Let's just move because if you ask me, I can't tell you what all that was about. I'm sorry, please bear with me. I have had an issue. I've had some issue with my studio. So that's why we're using makeshift studio for now. In a short while, we will get back to our usual to another studio actually. So thank you very much everyone for your patience. Let's roll, let's roll, let's roll. So today we're looking at 10 things that as toddler parents or parents of young children, toddlers or preschoolers, 10 things that we do or that we can miss that will make our children struggle when they become preteens and teenagers. You guys know that I am so big on, what happens with our children, especially during the preteen phase of their lives. Because I know that if we get the teenage period of their lives right, then we will have a good preteen season where we can influence, do a lot of influencing. Because by the time your children get to 8, 9, 10, they're at that space where they are ready for skills. The children are learning skills. They are ready to try skills, right? They are in their conscious state, right? They're in that stage where they are now conscious, right? They are now, they're not becoming just individuals of themselves, right? So the child is already becoming an individual of himself, I mean, his own individual, right? Their individuality is beginning to pop at this point, right? And this is the stage where it's still very easy for you to influence them, especially, yes, you can see me, you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you very much. All right. So now, if at the stage where your child is a preteen, you have gotten their toddler phase right, what happens during the preteen phase is that you have a child who is willing to try. You have a child whose ears you still have. You have a child who still allows you to influence them. And this is the stage where the child is building skills. You have a child, if you've done your work well when the child was a toddler, you would have a child that is that welcomes learning. So at this stage, your child is a willing learner. Your child is someone who is attached to you in the right way. Your child is someone whose ears you have, meaning the child allows you to influence them. Your child is eager to learn. And so it's easy for them to key into skills. It's easy for them to for you to model, to that child, and for the child to run with what it is, whatever it is that you are modeling at that time. But you need to understand that most of this will only happen, or most of this happens easily when we have gotten the first phase of their lives, between 0 and 6. When you get the phase between 0 and 6 right, by the time your child becomes a preteen, when they are 8 and 9 and 10, 11, because of the work that you have done and because of how well you got the first phase of their lives right, you realize that you have an easy ride. Yes, the ride is usually easy when they are preteens. And I work with preteens and I am big on this phase. So that is why we have come to realize that we cannot do, this work with our preteens right. We cannot influence, we cannot support our preteens right effectively, without ensuring that their parents know what to do with them during the toddler phase. If as a parent, you know what to do with your children when they are toddlers and when they are preschoolers, between when they are 0 and when they are about 6. If you do the right thing, if we get it right during this phase, when your children come to us, right, when they come to us in the mastermind circle, when they are preteens, it's easier for us to help them learn skills. It's easier for them to internalize skills. It's easier for them to learn habits that will last, habits that can be transformed. It's easier for you to influence them. It's easier for us to influence them. So it becomes easier. And when you get the preteen phase, all of this, we get children skilled during the preteen phase. What you have is, when your children become teenagers, what you will have is, you will have teenagers who would not struggle. You will have teenagers who will be productive. You will have teenagers who are engaged. You will have teenagers that are reasonable. So you see, it is all connected. What you do in the first phase, what you do when they become preteens, will all manifest when they become teenagers. And of course, when you have a productive and engaged teenager, you can go to rest knowing that as young adults, you do not have so much to worry about. At the point where your child is launched fully into the world to navigate on their own, you can go to rest and not make church your second home, where you are going to stay with God for hours, not just because you love the Lord, but because you feel that you need to hold on to his feet for your children to be right. Anyway, that's on the flip side. You know how when we were in school, back in the day when we were in school, okay, there's always that conversation and people always say, oh, all the things I did in school, all the horrible things I did in school, if it weren't for my mother's prayers, I know it's my mother's prayers that is keeping me, oh please. All right, so we want to get parents to recognize, the role that they can play in the lives of their children as early as possible, so that by the time your children go to the university, or the time that you have launched them out to, basically navigate the world on their own, you can chill, you can relax, knowing that what you have out there is a child who is equipped to take on the world. What you have there is a child who has all the arsenal that they need to take on the world. So you can rest in the mid, what time is that of your life? Okay, you can rest during the sunset or the mid whatever of your life without having to worry about your 20, your 22, your 25-year-old. All right, so this is what we are going to be looking about art today. All right, so I want to start by saying, am I just starting? Did I introduce myself? So my name is Maribel Chima. I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and PTM Resources. And yes, I am the proud matron of the Mastermind Circle. The Mastermind Circle is a pair mentorship and accountability group where we work with young children. Yes, we work with children as young as 6. These days, we even take children who are about 5 and 7, 8 months. You're sure that you've been walking a bit of an intentional journey with your child so far, and you know that, okay, to an extent, I know that I've done some work. When those kind of parents come with us, with their children who are less than 6, we allow them, into the system so that we can start working with the children as early as possible, because we know that whatever it is that we can catch early, whatever it is that we can nip in the bud early, whatever it is that we can incorporate, we can introduce, whatever it is that we can model early in the life of our children will go a long way. Most of the times when you see parents of teenagers who struggle, it is because the journey, the intentional journey, most often began a little late. We're not saying that, okay, if you have teenagers as children and you are starting your intentional parent journey today, it's not possible that you will make, progress, or that you would, be able to support your child. No, we're not saying that. We're just saying that parenting is a lot in parenting is tenor-based, is time-based, and all of that. So the earlier you start, the easier, right? That it is not so easy, or it's not as easy doesn't mean that it's not possible. So that's why we encourage and we preach, start early, start early, start early. Get the children into systems where we can start, where we can start, is it indoctrinating? All right, where we can start pointing them to the right thing, to the right path as early as possible. So by the time they become preteens, we already have children who have all the right habits, the right mindsets, the right habits, the right perspective to life. They have all of that as their default mode. So your child is not struggling to be right. What all that your child knows, is what is right? Yes, to a huge extent. All right, so being a parent is not just about loving your children, providing care for your children. Being a parent is about leveraging the knowledge and the wisdom that you possess to give your children a head start in life. So being a parent is not just about, oh, I love my children. I love my children. Oh, I send them to the right schools. I buy them the right clothes. I make sure that they look a certain way. It's not about, oh, I provide school fees. That's not what it is to be a parent. It's much more than that. All right. I was telling my children the other day, and I said to them, I hope you know that your education, I mean, having an education is the most basic level of civilization that you can get at a time like this. So as a parent, giving your children an education is the most basic thing that you can do for them. All right, it is the most basic thing, and you choosing to send your children to whatever you consider as the right school. It's you making the right choice to ensure that your children are placed in the right kind of environment, because you understand that the environment where you put your child is going to determine the outcome of that child. Because, hey, a child is a sum total of the person that's raised the child, the environment where the child is raised, what the person that has raised the child knows, right? Basically, and what it is that the child has comes in contact with, basically. So what are the things that you have access to your children? Who has access to your children? What does your child have access to? What environment is the child in? What do you know as a parent? Who are you as a parent? All of these things are the things that will actually imprint on who your child would become. So that you chose a certain school or you chose a certain, environment for the child, is still you doing the basic thing, trying to ensure that you have placed them in the right environment for them, right, to achieve, for you to raise the kind of child that you want to raise, to give them the best, right, to give them the best basic need, right? And these things are not even you just giving your children extra. I hope you know, right? I mean, it is their basic fundamental right that they are sent to school, that they are fed, right? It is. I mean, you should go and read the Child Acts, So by law, your child should be sent to school, your child should be given food and all of that. So when we do those things, those are not things that we will come and brag about, like, I'm doing this for my child. This is you doing the basic things that you should do as a parent. After all, it is you by yourself that decided to have these children, isn't it? So yes, it's more than just caring for them. It's more than just loving them. Parenting is more than just caring, loving them. It's about you leveraging the knowledge and the wisdom that you have, right, and using it in a way that it can give your children a head start in life. So the question you want to ask now for every parent here, those who will be catching the replay, all right, the question you want to ask is, so what knowledge and wisdom do I have? How knowledgeable or how wise am I in this area, basically? All right, because, hey, it's not as if you can take the knowledge. Let's take, for instance, that, I don't know, let's not go there. But the question you want to ask yourself is basically, what knowledge or the knowledge that I have? Good afternoon. Thank you very much, our Dogas Family Gallery. Okay. All right. Jamila, you said the environment where I put my girl contributes to our, of course, to our outcome. Absolutely. It does, to a huge extent. And this is why we choose certain schools that we have vectored and, we've checked and we say, okay, this place is the right place. I want to put my child here. So it's just the basic need that you can do for your child. And it's not something that we should say, oh, I've done this for my child and that's it. Okay. So the child should take it from there. No. Okay. So it's more than just loving them and all of that. So it's, what do you know? What do you know? And how are you using what you know to give your child a head start? All right. So earlier on, I wrote a post in my community on Facebook, and in that post, I said that there are different parents. I mean, wherever you are as toddler parents, because we are focusing on toddler parents and parents of young children, parents of preschoolers, right? So let's focus on this group of parents of children who are in preschool. We're looking at parents of children between 0 and 6. So let's just focus here. All right. So for parents of children of this age, you will see different category of parents. One of the parents that you see are those parents who feel that they don't need to learn anything about parenting. Like, why does any other person have to come and tell me how to parent my child? Who told my parents how to parent me? If you think we don't have this kind of parents, then you're not looking around you. We have a lot. We have more of this kind of parents even than we have parents who are trying to do anything extra about, parenting. So we have a lot of parents who think it's too clinical. When you come and you say, oh, children need to be, taught this, or you need to do this, or you need to do that, you need to structure your home. They come and they make you feel like, oh, they say it. I mean, some will even say it to your face. I mean, all of these things are just Oyibo kind of things. All of these things are too clinical, and all of that. It's not supposed to be that serious. All right? It's not that serious. Now, they say those things to make you feel bad that you go the extra length or you try to be extra about parenting. What is there not to be extra about raising a whole human being? We're extra about raising chickens and dogs. We're extra about raising, about fishing. When we decide to start a fish farm, we're extra about all of those things. We know the kind of feed. We know what feed is for, what level of, at what stage the fish, right? At what stage they should eat what kind of feed, for your poultry, when to light up the poultry in a certain way. You go all this extra length. For your dog, have you seen dog lovers? Oh my goodness, those ones are extra. You know when to give them a bath. You know how to hold the mouth when you're giving them. We go all the extra. We do all the extra when we are trying to raise pets. Yet people come, and when you say there is a need to do the extra when it's raising children, they try to make you feel bad. If you are here and you have friends, you have family members, I know what I'm talking about. You have friends, you have family members, you have colleagues that try to make you feel like you are doing the extra when you try to put a little more into your parenting. Just turn the other way and pay them no attention at all. You hear me? Pay them no attention at all, because there is every need to be extra about your parenting, because parenting is that important. Raising a whole human being that would come and be a blessing or a nuisance to the world is that important, okay? So we need to put all of our energy in there and do what we have to do. All right. I posted a video yesterday, and such a very lovely video to watch. It was a family that was celebrating Easter, and they actually went the length of role playing the whole Easter, the whole Passover, process for their children, for their little children. They're 0 to 6 year olds are at most 8-year-old kids, right? They went the whole length, the breaking of the bread, everything. The father dressed in, the whole Hebrew look and all of that. I was just looking at that whole video, and I can imagine the planning, the energy, the process, that would have gone into it. Beautiful. And then someone will sit down there and tell you, the fact that you want to create structure in your home, you want to do this, someone wants to tell you that is extra. There's nothing extra about this. So we have those parents who feel that everything that you do that focuses or shines the light on, parenting and wanting to give your children more, okay, is extra. The only time that is not extra is when you are just giving out money and, doing the things that the average person thinks is okay. Then they make you feel like you're not doing extra. All right. So yes, there are those ones that feel we should do nothing apart from basic, send them to school, let there be lots of food at home, buy them clothes, spend so much money buying clothes, so much money traveling all around the world. That's not extra. But every time you stop and you want to, treat parenting, with detail, they make you feel like you're not doing you're being extra. So yes, so there's that group of parents who feel nobody should tell me how to raise my children. These are the same ones that will always say things like, there is no template to raising children. Do what works for you. There's nothing like do what works for you. There is everything about principles and what is right for the child. There is a second group of parents, and these ones are the ones that have, they know that there is more to be learned, okay? And they are even availing themselves. Probably, we probably have some of this kind of parents right here, right now, that will come and then get all of the information. All right, so you come in here, you get information, you read books here and there and all of that, and you have all of this knowledge and all of this information. But as far as it goes, that's where it ends. That's where it actually ends. So you know all of these theories. Yes, you know all of the theories, you know all that should be, but you would not apply these things in your home, because when it comes to the doing, it becomes a bit difficult. When it comes to the doing, you don't have time. So these are the ones that you hear say, oh, I don't have time. These are the ones you hear say, you invite them for a program, you invite them to join in a session, you tell them to enroll for a course, you tell them to read books sometimes, and all you keep hearing is, I don't have time. These are the ones that do not want to invest in they don't want to invest in accountability systems, right? And even if they do not show up in those accountability systems. Now, you can even be an intentional parent, and at some point in your life, during some seasons in your life, you find yourself in this place where you cannot execute and all of that. Been there, done that. I understand this. Okay, now these kind of parents, it's good that you're making the effort, but the truth is the children will not enjoy the full benefit of that knowledge that you have. They won't enjoy the full benefit of all that you have blessed with, okay, knowledge and information and all of that, until you get to the point where you can now begin to apply these things into your parenting. All right, the last group of parents are the ones that are working tirelessly, are making themselves available to learn, and are doing their best to apply what it is that they are learning. Now, you may be this parent, right? And you don't know everything that you need. You are ready, but you just don't have all the tools, you don't have all the strategy, you don't have everything that you need, but you are willing and you are ready. Okay, these are the kind, this is where all of us should find ourselves. All right, because what being this parent does to you is it opens you up to keep learning. It opens you up to the point where you know that what you know is not enough, so you are constantly hungry for more. You're constantly seeking better ways. You are constantly looking out to see the gaps in your parenting. All right, because if you are parented to the point that you have reached that you cannot see gaps in your less than 18-year-old children, then let me know where you are. Let me come and find you so that you can dish more for me. Okay, because for me and for most people that I know, we are constantly, that is what parenting intentionally is about. You are intentional about the way you are raising or parenting your children. Now, it's that intentionality that allows you see the gaps in your parenting. It's that intentionality that allows you keep going back to the drawing board, because as it is, you are not a perfect person. Neither are you a perfect parent. So it is being intentional that allows you see what it is that you did yesterday that could be done differently today. It is that intentionality that allows you, present yourself for tutelage. It allows you present yourself. You want to read books to know more. You want to attend courses to know more. You can network, so that you can feed on other people's experiences, and you can see what in their experiences you can borrow from, or you can take and try out in your own dynamics to see if it works for you. So that is where each and every one of us should be, and that is why we are constantly saying you can't be in that space where you think that you have become an authority in parenting, because there is nothing like that. You cannot be in a place where you are a complete authority in this, okay? Or that you begin to approach your parenting your children from a place of I being an authority in this, and so I got this all. So that's why there is a need for constant learning and all of that. All right. So Jamila says, who my children become is a summation of what I know. Absolutely. It's a summation of what you know children will become. All right. So yes, having said that, so let's jump in and look at some of these, some of these things that if you do not as a parent, Sorry, just give me a second. All right, I'm so sorry about this. When you have children at home, it's a whole different dynamics. All right, so let's get to it. So now let's look at all right, so let's jump right in, okay, and look at, some of these things that if we miss would actually lead our children to struggling. All right, so last week I was talking about, I was talking about the kind of relationship or attachment that we can have with our children that is productive or that is healthy. All right. So number one is developing a relationship with your child where your child has a secure attachment. All right. So a secure attachment refers to how you raise your children, right? How, or as, sorry. All right, I'm so sorry about this. I'm just having such a situation today. All right, then. Boom. All right, so you need to call this man. If not, he will not allow me have a class. All right, sorry, a bit of explanation here. I'm using my mobile phone, and there is someone that is supposed to be supplying something to us, and the person is just calling back to back. And because I'm using my mobile phone, it's interfering. Sorry about this. I'm trying to get them to reach out to the person so that the person can, yeah. All right, then. So let's move. It's been so distracting. I'm sorry about this, all of this distraction. All right, so secure attachment, right? So now a secure attachment is that relationship or that attachment that you build, that you help your child develop when you are when the child is growing towards maturity. This happens for children, humans, and then for all mammals, as a matter of fact. So the kind of present, how present you are, how you respond to the need of the child would determine how attached the child is to you, or what kind of attachment the child would develop, with the parent or primary caregiver. Now, for parents who understand, this is why we say knowledge is very key. For parents who understand the place of connection in their relationship with their children and understand how to show up for their children in this phase of the child's life, and they're able to harness this knowledge and the information that they have to leverage. And then, they leverage on all of these to give their children a start. Sorry. I'm telling him to stop calling me. All right, sorry about this. Okay, so because of the kind of, how present you have been as a parent, and how you have shown up for the child begins to trust you. The child can trust you. The child is dependent on your presence or dependent on you for their need. The child knows that no matter what happens, you will be there. Remember, we're talking about your infants. We're talking about your children, your 0 to 1 month, 2 months, your 1 year old child. Now, this is when you are developing this attachment. As a matter of fact, okay, science says, psychologists actually say that whole trust factor in your relationship with your child is built in the first 18 months of the child's life. So how you're present for your infant child, for your baby, that time where they will cry and they need you, and then you show up, you take them, you're smiling, you're laughing, you're playing with the child. At that point, you are building the foundation for connection that the child will need for the rest of their lives. Now, how you are able to develop this would determine how your child would struggle or not struggle when they become teenagers. So when you are able to build the right kind of attachment with your child, what happens is you and the parents and the child become connected. You are able to build a good connection with that child. Now we've been talking about play. If you're able to invest in play as a strategy in raising and helping your child learn, what happens is as the child grows older, the child learns to trust you more. And now the child is able to learn from you, because we have said play is the language of, what is this today? We have said that play is the language of learning for your child. Play is the language of love for your child. Play is the language that children understand. Now, as a parent, if you are a parent of a baby, a parent of infants, a parent of toddlers, if you're able to understand the power of play and you're able to optimize play as a strategy for learning and building connection with your child, then you will be giving your child something powerful that will help you connect in a way that by the time your child is a teenager, you are not having all those parent-child or parent-teenager clash, because at this point your child would have learned, and your child would have learned a lot. Your child would have built skills. Your child would know how to honor you. You will have a connection, a communication line that allows you and your child to be in sync. This is how you are able to create stability in your relationship with your child. And this begins right from when your child is a baby, an infant, when they are toddlers. So by the time they are toddlers, by the time they are 0 to 6 year olds, and you have stayed in on this path, you would have nurtured that relationship using the secure attachments that you have built over time. And this is one of the ways that you can ensure that your children do not struggle when they become teenagers. Are we going somewhere? Are you with me? All right. So if you're with me, let me know in the comments that you're following. You are with me. Sorry for all of that glitch at the beginning. It actually got me, it threw me off balance. All right. So yes. So that's one of the things. And this is why we have been screaming and we've been talking about, joining the class that we have coming. So we have a class that is coming up in the first, I think somewhere on the 12th of April. We're already in April. Yeah, welcome to April. So we have a class that is coming up in April where my team member and my colleague and I will be working with parents of toddlers and preschoolers. All right, we call that course optimizing play in your home, right, as a way to help your children learn in different areas. Okay, we had a master class. If you've not caught that, the replay of that master class yet, what is wrong with you? We had a master class 2 weeks ago where we taught parents how they can use play to help build emotional intelligence and empathy in their children. It was a wonderful, it was a beautiful class. And that's just one aspect. In this course, we're going to be dealing with all the other aspects basically, okay, that you need to raise a wholesome child. We just talked about emotional intelligence and empathy. Now think about us talking about many more areas, right? Think about it. It's a whole 6-module course. So you want to be a part of that course. In fact, the early bird registration for that course ends. He ended yesterday night. Okay, but I said I was going to give up to the end of this. Did I put it out there? We're going to give up to the end of today after this class, and then no, I think the team has already increased the payment. I mean, increased the price of that course, right? By the mid, I mean, it's been moved to, a mid price before it gets to 10,000, which is the original cost for that class, basically. All right. So if you want to be a part of that class, you better run. Okay. Who knows? After this class, maybe I'll be able to just tell the team, let's just take the 675 till the end of today. Who knows? Maybe able to do that. All right. So yes. So the next one is emotional regulation. What's the next thing? Now, if you as a parent understand the place of raising your toddler to be able to regulate their emotions, if you can bring your toddler to the place where they become aware of their emotions, that's where it starts, being aware of their emotions. And it's something that we teach you how to do. It's something that you can learn how to do. Learn how to help your toddler become, first of all, aware of their emotions. So you need to go and watch that, the replay of the masterclass. It's a free masterclass, so please don't dull yourself. Go and watch it. Okay, I won't be talking a lot about emotional regulation because we dealt with it in that class. 1 whole hour and a half we were on this. Okay, so go and watch that, the replay of that masterclass. Okay, I think at the end of this class, just let me know if you have not seen that masterclass. We'll probably check the description at the end of this video. You would see that replay so that you can catch the replay of that class. All right. If you're on Facebook, just check in the comments at the end of this class so that you can catch the replay of that class. All right. So yes, so we're not going to dwell on this one. All right. The next one you want to do, you want to foster a growth mindset in your child. If you foster a growth mindset in your child, yes, your toddler and your preschoolers, if you can get your children to the point where they can begin to, you can begin to nurture the growth mindset in the child as early as possible, then you will save the child a lot of struggle when they become older. How do you do this? Now, fostering the growth mindset is helping your child understand that there is always more to do. There's always more to learn. Constantly raising the bar for your child and not allowing your child settle. When as a parent, you don't turn your children into praise junkies, right? You're not parents that, if you are the parent that is constantly telling your child how, you're used to hailing your children. Oh, and then you come and say, oh, they said we should, boost their self-esteem with affirmations. Right. There is affirmation and there is turning your children to praise junkies. So when you are constantly praising your children, telling them how beautiful they are, telling them how amazing they are, your children will pass one. They win one competition. You will buy them something that is bigger than life. All right. You are constantly rewarding your children for small efforts. Okay. You're constantly telling stories about how your children are the best in their class, are the best in everything. Your children listen to you tell the stories over and over and over again. What it does, it leaves a false sense of perfection with your child. It leaves your child with a false sense of perfection. When they hear you constantly telling everybody, in fact, some of us will even go the length of even adding extra to the gist. And our children are listening, they can hear us, okay? When they listen to this and they hear this and they see this over and over again, what it does is it turns them into praise junkies. And the bad part about praise junkies is that they begin, as I said, they begin to have a false sense of perfection. And so they do not want to learn. They feel like they've arrived. They feel like they know a lot, right? They know everything. Another thing there's a flip side to this one also. Now, when you put your children in that space where you are constantly seeing them, or you're constantly, especially for parents that has, some children who do exceptionally well, and you have others who don't do exception. I mean, that's well. And then for this one that does exceptionally well, it's constant praise, 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 comparing them with, I mean, using them as a standard for others. What you do, as I said, you put them in that place of, an illusion of perfection. While the child is in that elusive space of perfection, the child does not want to fail. Now, because you are constantly praising only when they win, they're winning, they're winning, they're winning, they're winning. Okay, the child is afraid to lose. The child does not understand failure. You do not put a sense, in your home that allows those who fail know that failure is just a stepping stone, to success. Okay, when you're a parent who does not embrace failure and do not allow your children embrace failure, you're constantly criticizing those who fail or those who are not doing so well. What it does to this one who is doing well is that he doesn't want to find himself in that position where he is judged or he's belittled like these other people. And so what happens is he avoids anything that he will fail at. So you see, these children do not want to try. They do not want to try anything that will make them fail. They do not want to try. So these are the children that, as you raise them, they even grow up to become people who are constantly judging other people also. Yes, they're constantly judging other people, constantly using, their false standard to judge other people. Now, it's not like these children will not know that they fail also, but they do not want to come to terms with the failure in them. So they will do everything within their power to shield their failure. They will do everything within their power to hide the fact that they can fail also. But they are very, very comfortable with judging other people and making other people's failure look big. So what you do when you're a praise junkie is you raise children who are settlers. They will settle. They settle. Well, hey, I am okay where I am and all of that. So yes, you don't want to do that. So you want to be a parent who fosters a growth mindset by always raising the bar. So your child comes and the child has won at something. You celebrate them. You celebrate them. Let your celebration be short and you move on. Raise the bar immediately. Oh, also, I want to tell you that, you should be proud of yourself. Stop telling your children you're proud of them. They should be proud of themselves. You should be proud of yourself. I see the effort that you put into that, and I think that you put a lot of effort. Just look at the results that you got just because of the effort that you put, so that the child is constantly seeing himself as the one that is making, seeing that the effort that he puts would yield results. And so he wants to put in more effort and more effort because he knows that it is through the effort that he puts in that results, that will yield results. Okay. And then, as I said, when they win at something, you celebrate them and then you raise the bar. Oh, that. Now that you did this, see what it got you. So imagine that you do more. Imagine that, instead of studying for 30 minutes, you start studying for 45 minutes. Think about that. Let's go there. Let's go there. So when you do that, you make your child know that there are territories, there's more to conquer. The sky is not your limit. You have no limit, as a matter of fact. Okay, so when you do that, you're helping them develop a growth mindset. So they always want to grow. They always see themselves as people who will grow. And while you're doing this, help them know that growth is in supporting other people too. So raise them in a way that they're willing to support other people. Raise them in a way that they're willing to seek help. They're willing to ask for help when they need help. So that's why you can't keep praising one child for the one that is not doing so well. You want to tell them how, well done. You did something and this is where you are. So imagine that you put more effort, and I'm sure that your brother can help you. Why don't you see what he can help you with, and one of you see what you can help yourself with? Always praise. There's always something. Every human being, every child has something that they're exceptional at. Make sure that you pick, you're able to, put your finger on that thing that even the other child is good at. It could be that that child is good at tidying their space. It could be that that child is good as, the child is tactile and the child is good with there's always something. All right. So always point each of them to help each other with what they are good at. That way, nobody sees themselves as better. And then you would actually foster that relationship where children learn to ask for help, and know that they need each other. Very, very key. When we don't do that, we make you make your child feel like there isn't more, right, for them to do, and that they are, as I said, they're perfect as it is, and it's a false one. The next one is you want to help them build independence. You want to build independence into your child from the word go. From when your child, from the moment that your child can move their limbs, right? The moment that your child can stand on his own and move, the moment that their hand can grasp something, right? Then they are ready. They are ready to be independent in that area. The moment your child can direct the spoon to his mouth, he's ready to feed himself. The moment your child can grab a plate and take it to the kitchen, he's ready to take his plate to the kitchen when it's done. The moment your child can hold on to a sponge and put it on a plate, then the child is ready to do the dish or clear up after themselves. So you are constantly looking out for what milestone your child has attained so that you can make them responsible at that level. There is how there's something that every child can do, no matter how young they are, as far as they can use their limbs and they can move and grab effectively. Yes. So I'm saying for your 8-month-old, there is something that they can do for themselves. For your 2-year-old, for your 10-year-old, there is something. There's a lot that they can do for themselves at that point. Now, the truth about it is children were actually hardwired to be independent, right? So that's why you see, as they are growing, they're insisting. The child wants to give himself a bath. The child wants to feed himself. The child wants to do this. You are the one that is constantly afraid. You are the one that is constantly asking Iyabo and Fumi and Rose and everybody to take care of your child while you want your child to be laid back. So somewhere along the line, we tell ourselves, I don't know what we tell ourselves, okay, it's our trauma most of the time. I didn't have all of this. I want to give it to my child. I didn't, I want to make sure my children, you are doing them a disservice. So dear parents, if you can get your toddlers to be responsible as early as possible, now you will not be dealing with them being responsible when they become teenagers, because responsibility becomes second nature. At every point, your child knows that he is responsible for something. All right. Earlier today, our son runs a business, right? Our son runs a business where he sells juices and all of that. Earlier this morning, I had asked him, have you taken stock of your products today? And yeah, so he went and he took stock, and somehow 4 bottles were not there. And he came back and he said, 4 bottles missing. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, you look for it. And he's like, yeah, I've checked everywhere. I said, no, why are you looking at, why are you talking about it as if it's my problem? It's your problem. You are the one. You are the one that should hold yourself accountable, first of all. I'm holding you accountable. First of all, you need to hold yourself accountable. So if your product is missing, you leave there. As in, you leave there, you dig that freezer, you take out everything, you scatter everywhere until you find your product, or you sit down and think until you find who bought from you that you did not record or something. All right. So, dear parents, these children have it. They have the capacity to be responsible. Okay, if you do not start early, you don't start giving them small responsibilities when they are younger, when they become teenagers, and you start asking for accountability, or you're asking them to be responsible, then you are the one giving them a burden at that time. You are the one that is stressing them at that time, because you cannot demand from them a skill that you have not taught. You cannot demand from a child a skill that you have not taught the child, and you have not allowed the child to practice, over time. So very, very key. All right. You can start asking questions in the season where the child is practicing. That's okay. But you cannot leave a child from nowhere. And this is what happens to a lot of us as parents. We leave them. We have Yabo and Agnes and everybody do everything for them. Then one day you wake up and you see a very tall girl, big, all grown-up child, right? You're 16, you're 17-year-old. And somewhere at the back of your mind, you remember how, when you went to that house, you saw the 18-year-old doing something great. great, and then you come back and you want to criticize your child. Why would you do that? You didn't raise the child to do anything. So enjoy with your child who knows how to do nothing. Okay, so if you want to raise teenagers that will not struggle when it comes to responsibility, then they need to start becoming responsible as soon as their limbs can carry them and their hands can grab. I hope you got that. Record it, write it somewhere. I said so. That's when your children should start looking after themselves. Very, very key. The next one is decision making. You want to introduce decision making to your children as early as possible. I'm sure I don't have to overflog this one. What it simply entails is leave room for your children to make small decisions that will not break anybody's leg or that will not lead to casualties. Things as simple as what dress, give them options, 2-3 options. Things as simple as there are 2 options for this Sunday, the blue dress and the pink dress. Which one are you going to wear? And all of that. And then allow the child choose one of them. What you do is at this point, when you're doing this, you're already getting the child to the point where the child can make decisions. See, if you have teenagers that you ask a lot of times, what do you think I should wear? Or what do you think about this? And it says, I don't know. There is a problem already. Your child has trouble with making decisions. Raise children, give them opportunity to make decisions. My 8-year-old would hardly ever tell you, I don't know. She will always pick something. She will always go with something. And that's because she's made decisions all her life as early as possible. The other day, I was wearing my wig the other day. And I said to her, what do you think? Should I pack it or should I let it down? She looked at me and she said, yeah, for what you're wearing, pack it up. It goes with what you're dressing. In my head, I'm like, what did this one do? I see. What did this one know about? I have dressed it. I have seen which one goes with what. But hey, she's not afraid to make decisions. It starts from little things like that. And I hope you know that true leaders are people who are not afraid of making decisions. So if you're not giving your children the opportunity to make decisions and to trust those decisions, basically, all right, if you're not giving them this opportunity, then you are not allowing them build themselves, build their self-esteem, and become confident in their own abilities. So that's why you need to get them to do things. You need to get them. I hope you know that when your children are also being responsible, that's them making decisions, because they will have to problem solve, all right? And we're going to come to that, all right? They will have to, it takes all of this to make decisions, basically, right? Being responsible is making series of decisions to achieve an outcome. So very, very key. The next one is problem solving. I started talking about problem solving. So you need to give your children opportunities to solve problems. And how do they solve problems? You get them to solve problems by not jumping in to save them all the time. So learn to throw back the quest that your children bring to you. Oh, mommy, I can't do this. I don't know what to do. Tell them, try. Okay, mom, what is this? Send the question back to them somehow. Mom, how do I open this? Think about it. Always send back, give them an opportunity to try everything, to try before you come in to help. And even in coming in to help, what you want to do is you want to guide them verbally until they achieve the outcome on their own. For instance, your child doesn't know how to buckle their shoe, or doesn't know how to, how is using an item for the first time and doesn't know how to go about it. So what you want to do, rather than take it and unscrew or take it and fix for them, you want to say to them, look at it again. What do you think? What do you think you should do first? Take your children through processes. I've said that many times. Okay, whenever you're teaching your children, teach them with a process at the back of your mind. Teach them with a process that has got steps. Let your children be able to think of whatever they are doing from a perspective of first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Let it be done in steps. They would remember more when you do things in steps. So you say to them, what's the first thing that you do? The first thing is to put my hand around the lead, and then what's the second thing? And then I screw it to the right, go through. In whatever you're teaching your children, put a process to it, process that can be numbered. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. So let them know that there are 5 steps to achieving that thing. So when they get stuck, all you need to do is, what's step 3? And the child will go, what's step 3? And you see, most times you see them go back to step 1, step 2. Oh, step 3 is this. Use steps. This is how you can be deliberate. This is what it means to be intentional. It's not a cult. We don't belong to a cult when they say be intentional. We're just saying, be that parent who just doesn't give vague responses, who doesn't do things ambiguously, who doesn't do things anyhow. There is a process to everything that you do. When you have that, then we say you have structure. Structure in your home and all of that systems is about you doing everything that you do with your children in a process that has the first step, the second step, the third step, and that's the best way to have young learners learn. If you are not planning to be at the optimized play class by this time, I'm wondering, that is a class you do not want to miss if you're a parent of children between 0 and even 7. Because what happens is, what you have done with your 6-year-olds, I mean, with your children from 0 to 6, you will see them begin to manifest when the child is 7, because age 7 is the point where the child begins to becomes rational. That's where your child begins to, be rational. He's able to think, things through, and all of that. So all that you have done through all of this process, you will see it manifesting. So you will see them thinking, oh, step 1, step 2, step 3, they're beginning to use their rational part of their brain by the time they are 7. So yes, you have a child between 6 and 7, you want to enroll for this course. All right, so let me put the information for this course on your screen in case you don't have it yet, so that you can just jump in. I don't know if I even have it on my screen. All right, so yes. I would see if I have that before we go off. All right, then. So it doesn't seem like I have that here. All right, so yes, we don't have it here. But hey, just all you need to do is just write in the comments. Just write. So just write in the comments course, or send us a message on 0813062156, and we would respond to you on how you can be a part of that course. All right, so what are we on? Number 8. Number 9 is number 9 is boundaries. I mean, I can't talk about boundaries enough. So number 9 is, as your children are toddlers, if you do not create boundaries in your home, if you don't incorporate systems and structure, and you don't put boundaries, you don't have a media plan in your home, what is acceptable when it comes to TV, phones, gadgets, and all of that, if you don't have that, then you will raise a child that will be throwing tantrums about phone and throwing tantrums about everything, gadgets and all of that. I hope you know I'm saying gadgets now because that is one place that will try your parenting if you don't get it right. If you don't get it right, your children are technology natives. Your children are never going to know a time without technology. Your children are drawn to technology. Technology is the language of the day. So yes, as soon as your children are born, they will be born into technology all around them. So you want to create how your children relate with technology as early as possible. You want to create what they have access to per time as early as possible. Don't worry. Some people say, oh, they need to start using this thing so that by the time they are old enough, they will know what to do. Who told you? These people are natives. They don't have to try hard to know these things. All right. So you need to put all of these things in place so that by the time this is in place, when they become teenagers, you will not struggle with a lot. Okay, I've said this story a lot of times. My son, at some point when he was 13, right, when he was in year 7 or so, realized that he was the only one, I think just him and one other person or so, that happens to be my friend's daughter, were the only ones who did not have phones in their class. Every other person had a phone and all of that. So he came and he was giving me gist, that, by way of gist. Like, guess what? Okay, so today my classmates found that I didn't have a phone, and they were as if they were confused. Like, how is it possible that someone doesn't have a phone? And then someone said to me that, how can you not have a phone? Then I asked her, you that you have a phone, what do you know that I don't know? Now, the only reason he can be in that space where it's not a problem at all, it's because as early as possible, we agreed about these things. We knew our boundaries, where we could go, where we couldn't go, what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, what is necessary, and what is not necessary. Okay, these things were agreed on. Okay, I was telling someone, my daughter has never touched her father's phone. Like, her finger has never touched her father's phone like this, because it was established from day one that there is no going there, right? There's no going there at all. So what is it that you want to see? You don't want to struggle with when your child becomes a teenager. Establish it right now. Establish it today. All right, you want to establish it when they are toddlers and preteen. And then preschoolers. Basically, you want to establish this as early as possible. All right, the last one we're going to be talking about is transition, helping your children to transition well, teaching. So in all that you are, in all of your teaching, or in all of your knowledge, and in all of your raising your children, raise your children aware, raise them with you being aware of the seasons of their lives. So as a parent, you need to be aware of the seasons of your child's life and create a transition plan for your children to transition from one season of their lives to the next, or from one phase of their lives to the next phase of their lives. So what it entails is that you are constantly preempting, okay, what's the next level? And so you prepare your child for the next level before your child gets to that level, right? You prepare them for one level before it is time, all right? So that you see how a lot of times when people are going to, secondary school, right? When parents are sending children to secondary school, boarding school, a lot of times you will see parents say, oh, he's so lazy, so dizzy, let him go to boarding school so that he will go and learn how to. No, it's not that. If you know that your child is going to go to boarding school at age 11 or 12, then you want to help them. You want to that's what the preteen phase of their life is for. Okay, so you want to teach them skills. You want to teach them skills that will make them independent, skills that will help them navigate, okay, outside the comfort of your home, outside the comfort of your support, outside, all of this. You want to put in all of this in there as early as possible. So when you do this, by the time your children become, when it is time for that season, you will see that they will simply just slide in and move easily. There is no need to set our children up for failure. When you don't transition, or you don't help them transition, right, effectively, what you're doing is you're setting them up for failure. Okay, if you set them up for failure, they will crash. So there is, and this is part of why we are parents, that we are able to, set our children up for success by what we expose them to and the skills that we help them imbibe or internalize. This is how you prepare them to transition from one phase. And this transition would be transitioning from probably, if you want to go with school, let's go with academics, transitioning from nursery school to primary school, from primary school to secondary school, transitioning, from a teenager to a preteen to a teenager, all of this. So for instance, what we do in the mastermind is we are helping. So the mastermind is a transition from preteen to teenage. So one of our biggest goal in the mastermind is to raise skilled preteens. Okay, so we want to raise preteens who are skilled. So we have two phases in the mastermind. So the first phase is we have children who are just moving from being toddlers into becoming preteens. So we want to help them transition from that toddler phase. So that's why we take them at 5+, at 6, so that we can help them, become confident, begin to make small decisions, take initiative on their own, begin to learn habits, and then consistently practice those habits. So consistency and repetition are two huge strategies that we use in the mastermind circle, because we understand that at the phase where the children are preteen, sorry, are toddlers moving to the preteen phase or to the school age phase, what they learn over and over and over again is very important to them internalizing these things. And then when they come in as preteens, we want to help them build skills. We want to help them build leadership skills, executive functioning skills, all of those skills, leadership skills, public speaking skills, all of that, confidence. That's what we do in the mastermind. We help them build all of this. We help them become confident in their own skin, in their own ability. We help them master the art of taking initiative, so that by the time they are leaving, we help them, of course, pay attention to the hobbies and the things they are interested in that are their superpowers. We're big on these things. So by the time your children are leaving the mastermind when they are 14, they are sure of the skills that are their superpowers. They are not afraid to make money. They're not afraid to write the books in their head. They're not afraid to try skills. They are comfortable with trying and creating things from scratch. So while we graduate them at the point they're turning 15, we are confident about the teenagers that we are, that we're launching out there. So the mastermind is all about preparing children for transitioning and all of that. So thank you very much. You need to be a part of this toddler course if you are a parent of children between 0 and 7. All right, check in the comments and you will see the link that you need to register. On YouTube, just check the description and you will see the link or the information that you need to register to be a part of this course that is coming up in the next 2 weeks. Thank you very much for joining me. Sorry for all the glitches that we had at the beginning. Okay, sorry about that. It's not always like this. Thank you very much. If you're just joining us for the first time, we hope to see you next week at 1 p.m. again. If you have joined us before now, thank you for being here today. I can't wait to see you next week. In the meantime, enjoy all the resources that we have in the group, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you again. Do have a fantastic week ahead and welcome to April. Have a fantastic day.